Hi, I'm Sue Bova, and you're watching Welcome Home Doggy, where we talk about creating a better quality of life for dogs. Today, we're going to talk with Patrice Hosmer of Happy Tails, a nonprofit that specializes in animal therapy visits. So stay with us. We'll be right back. Hi, Patrice. Welcome to Welcome Home Doggy.
Well, thank you so much for having us. We're excited to share our stories.
Well, this is great to have you here, and I know our viewers are probably saying, hey, there's a cat on set today, right? It's Welcome Home Doggy, and we have Bella, the cat, who's also a therapy cat, which is why we have our special guest here, right?
Absolutely.
And then we have Bella, correct?
This is Lily.
Lily, okay, Bella and Lily. And Lily, she trained to be a therapy pet?
She has passed her therapy pet test at the age of 3 and has been active for about a year.
Wonderful. So before we get into the heart of what Happy Tails does and pet therapy, tell us how and when you got involved with Happy Tails.
Wow, it's been almost 10 years now that upon retirement, my husband and I decided that we would like to give to our community, but via our sweet pets. And we found out about Happy Tails in a magazine supplement. And went to their orientation, and I guess the rest is history. We passed the Happy Tails handler pet examination, and we've been visiting ever since.
Great story. In the back of a magazine, that is truly, right, meant to be. Let's talk about sort of the history of pet therapy. How did it get started? And I was reading a story that it goes all the way back to 1944, where a dog who is named Smokey, Yorkshire Terrier, was helping in the military, right? A soldier, Bill Wynn, who became injured. And this was in the New Guinean jungle, correct?
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that story.
Well, actually, before she became a helper for the military, she was a stray, just found on the battlefield of war and taken under care by some of the soldiers who were encamped, and became a little worker for the military, running wires across places where people probably shouldn't go. And she followed Bill when he was injured to the field hospital. And that is when the magic started, because her love and affection just enamored the soldiers who were there, feeling pretty depressed and down about being injured, and it brought them to a different place with that little touch of maybe home or emotion that's connected with people and animals.
And it also speeds their recovery. The story also, I believe, mentioned that Bill's recovery started fast pacing, right? Once he had this, wonderful Smokey with him.
It's almost like having your family with you when you're far away from home.
Fast forward to Atlanta, Georgia, today, 2021. What is the mission statement of Happy Tails? You can paraphrase.
Well, Happy Tails is an organization that wants to share that human-animal bond, that connection that we all are aware of, that people experience when we look for healing or comfort.
Well, Welcome Home Doggy, right, is a show that celebrates that human-animal bond. What you just said is so spot on, Patrice. There are a few common types of support animals that are now mainstream. Service animals, emotional support animals, therapy animals. It's kind of hard to keep them straight. Can you elaborate for us the differences?
Well, for example, in service animals, those are animals that have a specific job, one-on-one, with a specific human, whether it would be guiding someone with limited sight or helping with someone who has limited movement. So, and they are protected by the American with Disabilities Act. Emotional support animals, on the other hand, are also one-on-one, but do not come under that act. They are one-on-one with an owner who gives either emotional support, usually emotional support, where they are comforting and just allowed to be companions. On the other hand, with the therapy pets, these are dogs and cats who are parts of regular families that are also able to share their good love and attentions with folks of many different abilities and places in life. So the therapy pet gets out and about and has contacts. I think last year we had over 110,000 contacts with our organization and different people.
That's incredible, 110,000.
That's what they said.
Wow. What are some examples of animal assisted therapy versus animal assisted activities that Happy Tails gets involved with?
Well, with animal-assisted therapy, the animal is actually an integral part of someone's rehabilitation. Usually, it could involve physical therapy, where, for example, if I was rehabbing an arm and I had a stroke, just simply throwing a ball and having it retrieved would be part of their therapy. Animal-assisted activities have a greater range of contacts because we visit folks who are either in different places in life, whether they're in a memory assisted facility, or maybe they're rehabbing in a physical facility, which really is more related to the mental aspects of therapy.
So, talk about memory patients specifically. What do you notice or see when a therapy animal is engaging with that memory challenged patient?
Well, first of all, one of the first things you actually notice is the light in someone's eyes that may have been dimmed by memory loss reignites. And you can see a recognition that this moment has brought back something in their own personal experience, their past, and that itself is a very powerful moment. So with memory-assisted activities, it is always just a very rewarding moment just to experience as a handler. The pets do their thing. They know.
Incredible. So this tags into then some of these clinical benefits. I was reading on your website clinical benefits of therapy animal visits included increased awareness, verbalization, socialization, mood alteration, and decreased blood pressure. Incredible.
Absolutely. Well, it's pretty well known that just petting a furry creature is a blood pressure medicine that is not necessarily found in the pharmacy. And we have other incidents where we can actually see where someone can start recalling a pet that they had in their past, and that they're either reminding them of something that they can talk about, and the verbalization becomes wonderful stories that are woven between the pet that they have in front of them one day and the pets that they remember from decades ago.
That is so cool. I love that. Wow. What types of facilities does Happy Tails serve?
Well, we are involved with just about all the Atlanta metro hospitals. We have teams that go out on a regular basis. Usually, a team visits about once a month at a certain time and a day. And the Atlanta Metro hospitals include the Children's Hospital as well, Children's Healthcare. We serve primarily nursing facilities, and we do some adult daycare. We do schools. Sometimes special needs students have a regular pet visiting day incorporated in their curricula. And we even go up to the colleges on exam week and
Really? What
serve
a
as
great idea.
de-stressors. Yeah.
What a great idea. So, I love Sweet Bella here. When organizations first, happen upon Happy Tales, and somebody watching today might say, "Oh, I really want this for my organization." Is there a waiting list? How do they apply? How does that begin, that process?
Well, it involves a visit to our website
Hmm.
because there will be always a learn more connection. But normally, what happens is we find out if there is going to be a mutual time and place and way that our visits will be able to serve. Right now, we have about 182 facilities that are served by Happy Tales, and a waiting list that sometimes rivals the number of facilities we are presently serving. There
Wow.
are only about 300 so members, and we own and about 280 pets, because sometimes in my case my husband and I are both certified to handle Lily, and I'm certified to handle Bella. So we're always looking for people with loving pets that can be able to reach out and perhaps make that waiting list a little shorter.
Sure. And I was fascinated that, of course, had heard about dogs being therapy animals and of cats. I had heard that too. But rabbits are also on your list. So that is so neat. Can you tell us a little bit about the rabbits?
Well, I've actually seen the rabbit test, and it involves just simply being loving little bunnies. They usually come to us in baskets or strollers, and just that as long as they're calm and well behaved, they generally are a shoe-in for passing the test. As you can imagine, cats probably have a pretty easy way of getting past that big hurdle of pet handler examinations, because again, they need to be docile and calm and be able to be petted. Now dogs, on the other hand, are smart little guys and girls, and they need to be able to sit stay and downstay, and all of the pets are taken through crowds of people to see if they react in a way that we would expect an animal to react. So, and how they can recover if they are startled. So, all of that is part of the pet handler examination.
Excellent. Very informative. So we're coming out of COVID, and of course, the old folks' home, retirement homes are probably lots of those on your list. How did COVID disrupt the Happy Tales process? Did it make a huge dent, and have you ramped up to full speed ahead now?
Well, yes, it did affect us very severely. In the nursing homes, of course, we haven't had almost any contact since last March of 2020. And for the other activities, we have actually curtailed even some of our school visits and exam visits. We are just beginning with the proper protocols in terms of distancing and the liabilities that would be involved. We are starting to begin campus visits for maybe exam week or special situations. I had a Zoom visit with Bella, which was kind of a show and tell visit, but it worked.
Yeah.
So we're looking for ways to incorporate where we are right now, and we're just starting to pick up with our in-person visits. We still do hold our orientation sessions and our testing evaluation sessions, so people can prepare now for when we ramp back up to normal visitation protocols.
Excellent news. You know, how does someone learn to prepare their pet for the pet handler evaluation? Are there any age requirements for the pets or the handlers?
Well, the handlers need to be 18 years old. There is a minimum age. Uh, some families want to have their younger children accompany, but the person who is the official handler must be 18 or above. For the pet's age, the pet needs to live in the household for at least 1 year.
Okay.
And the has to at least be, for example, a cat needs to be at least 6 months old, even though because kittens are so cute, but they still need to be able to be under control. So we do have certain requirements in terms of who's ready to be tested. The good news is that it's just a matter of time before they all hit the right age requirement.
Right. So when took Bella to that first class, was she already docile and calm, or was there a transformation that happened?
Well, I had a little inside track, but the orientation sessions actually give you the setup for the testing. So you knew, or you do know what is expected for your dog and your cat and your rabbit. I realized that when we adopt, all our pets are adopted from rescues.
Excellent.
And when Bella came to us from a rescue, she started to show some real connection with people, and she was also very calm. Taught her a couple tricks, but the biggest trick was how to tolerate a harness. Because most dogs are used to leashes, they walk, they obey, sit and stay, but cats do not do that.
They don't do that.
No,
cats are cats.
But what
dogs are dogs.
This cat did was, if she was very treat oriented, so the first 5 seconds she wore a harness, she got a treat. And then you just got to be patient. It was 10 seconds the next day. By the time it was 30 seconds, she didn't care about the harness. She just was waiting for the treat. And in fact, this morning, there was a treat sitting in her stroller. So that gave her the heads up, or the paws up, that it's time to go out and do some visiting.
That is, so she connects now the treat with therapy work.
Yeah, she
amazing
loves both now.
Both of them are so well behaved. Clearly, they have their, and I see she has a special medallion.
Yes.
Right, that says she is a Happy Tails Pet Therapy animal. So, and you have your credentials.
We have our
correct?
credentials. Each is a photo with our pet. There's Bella and there's Lily. And our first pup was named AC, and she's now over the Rainbow Bridge, but she's watching us. And I think AC is channeling through Lily these days, because they both have a very, very sweet disposition.
I love that you still have AC on your credential. I would
she'll
do
always
this
be
always,
there.
right?
Yep.
Always. So, with regard to going into a facility or a school, right? Liability. Are there any particular set of rules that you must follow as a therapy dog nonprofit? For instance, we were talking about the animals cannot be on a raw diet, which makes sense, of course. What are some of the other things that might not be allowed if you were interested in bringing your pet into this program?
Well, our pets are required to have yearly physical exams to make sure that all of their vaccinations and shots are up to date. And that is a requirement for both cats and dogs. And also, hospitals may require extra vaccinations for the handlers as well, because they're in very sterile circumstances normally. Along with that, Our animals also need to show a certain standard of behavior. Before every visit, we have something called a meet and greet, where if we have a substitute, for example, in a group that has an unknown pet, usually a dog, we have certain protocols to make sure the dogs are able to understand that they're working, but they need to understand that we have a new member in our group and they get to sniff and say hello. And that first 15 minutes before we actually even enter the facility is part of the protocol. Since we are covered by a liability insurance policy as pet therapy handlers, we have to be very aware of all the proper ways of making a visit successful.
Very good. One of the stories I was reading on your website was from a handler who said, they went into a nursing home and it was silent. People were just sitting, not talking. Just so sad when you hear it. We've all experienced it, right, with our relatives and things like that. But after they brought the therapy animals in, she said it was like a party. People were talking, they were chatty, they were mobile, they got up out of their chairs. So that experience was like, wow. And I can imagine you've been there, 11 years now,
Yes.
12 years. How has this, sort of affected your life? And could you share with us one or two happy tales stories, that exemplify how we get more when we give of ourselves and of our pets?
Well, that is certainly the most powerful benefit, which is actually invisible because you feel like you have changed along with the people who have become social and chatty and interactive. They're almost like an icebreaker at a party. But I've seen that room transformed from quiet people who feel very distant and disconnected to the world that they're living in, become very animated, and that moment of reconnection is very, very powerful. And personally, I've seen little Bella on certain visits. We put a little blanket on a patient's lap and she'll sit. And I've seen a stroke victim who was very disconnected from the world just reanimate when he had her on his lap and petted her. And I always try to prompt by saying, feel the soft fur. That tactile sense is just a very powerful way of connecting with people that perhaps don't have the verbal ability anymore. So I've seen it with both dogs and cats that these are very powerful ambassadors of life and love, which are universal. We don't need words for it.
That was beautiful what you just said. Powerful ambassadors of life and love. Wow, you really captured that. Animal therapy transcends so many things. And what I've learned from you today is it's such an important nonprofit service that you do for people. Happy Tales is extraordinary in the gift that you give back. Thank you, Patrice, for spending time with us, sharing these stories, and hope to actually maybe get one of my dogs to become a pet therapy animal as well. Oh, thanks so much for being here today.
And thank you so much for having us. We love to tell our happy tales.
Well, that they are. Well, that's a wrap for today, but join us next week and tune into our next episode to learn more about how you can create a better quality of life for your dog and all dogs. For more information about today's show or our guest, please subscribe to our channel, visit our website, follow us on Instagram, and like us on Facebook. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time on Welcome Home Doggy. So, I'm so happy to be with Bella. She was perfect.